This episode of the Bottle Rocket podcast is brought to you by GamerClips.tv. Play, share and watch video game frags and clips with hundreds more added every day. Hit the link in the comments section to check them out.
You're gonna get mocked for this whole podcast, Chris.
I probably am, yeah. Let's just go for it. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Bottle Rocket podcast with me, Chris.
And me, Jake.
Me the months.
You may have already noticed that I've got a bit of a cold this week, so I sound a bit rough.
Yeah, man up. Yeah. You pansy.
Yeah, I'll try my best to man up. We're also missing Ben this week, as he's used all his
pansy, yeah.
He's used all his allocated game time on Destiny this week.
Ben has no time for podcasting. Ben has aliens to destroy.
He has to become legend. I've managed to tear myself away from it for a little bit to get this podcast done.
What? Destiny, what? What? What?
Have you even unwrapped that yet, Mans?
Yes, look.
Oh, it looked like it still had the cellophane on it.
No.
He got a minted cellophane copy that he's just going to keep like a
I'm going to frame it and then
first
put it up on a
edition
wall.
comic book.
Yeah. I bought an extra copy just to keep. So in the news, Destiny launched this week.
How did he know?
Did you notice?
You might have noticed if you didn't have your head buried in sand.
All I can see on Facebook is pictures of people doing panoramic views of the Traveller with like a really massive big like sunny background.
In fairness,
I wonder what got released then.
The scenery on it is really
Mega.
spectacular.
Yeah. This generation is all about the good skybox.
Oh, PlayStation lets us know by kicking the fan in really loud when your zoom in comes in.
Yeah. I mean, the PlayStation 3 version. Because, there is one.
There is one. There's also an Xbox 360 version as well.
Yeah, it's not as impressive graphically, but it's still the game.
Yeah, still everything you want.
Yeah.
You see, now I went out and got the Vanguard white PS4 bundle for it. It's sort of a bit hypocritical of me because I've spent the last God knows how long saying how unnecessary the next generation of consoles are at the moment. And then I've gone and bought
a white one of all things.
I've gone and bought a white one. In fairness, it does match in with my decor.
Noticed.
Yes.
So it blends in well with the desk and the colour of the walls and stuff like that.
So it's well camouflaged, is what you're saying.
It's well camouflaged, yeah.
Disapproving partners may never even notice it is there.
Nah, the fan will take care of that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's exciting times, and it was posted on the Bottle Rocket site from Computers and Video Games that they made their budget back in a day.
$500 million
in one day.
$500 million.
Imagine that in dollar bills.
About 15 years old.
That's. I mean, is that some sort of record?
Yeah, it's the record. Yeah,
it's a record.
Yeah. It's
it
the
had to
most.
be, didn't it?
Call of Duty probably owned it, or
Yeah.
did it? Probably did.
It's the most successful new IP ever.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Probably since Bungie's last one, Halo.
Yeah.
Halo? What's Halo? What?
But I mean, Halo's success grew. This I think that based off the fact that these are the guys that did Halo, it's a day one success.
It's and the servers didn't break, which is bonus.
I know, yeah.
That's impressive.
I've been playing it pretty much solidly for the last 36 hours.
No problems at all. I mean, this is launch week, right?
This is launch week. Now, I think I've had 2 disconnections, but
Nice.
going off my internet.
Uber fast internet.
I'm not gonna name my internet provider because I'm not into slating people on the internet just yet.
No.
But it's not the best.
Not the best provider in the world.
It's not the best provider in the world, but
To be honest, if I was at Activision with the launch they've had, I would be ringing up EA, just laughing at them down the phone, I think. Look how well it works everywhere. Why can't you do that for anything?
Oh, yeah.
Remember
it's playing
because we
but yeah, I mean, like I said, I've got the white bundle, and I can't help thinking, with this being PlayStation exclusive content, that they've brought this white PlayStation out to say, look, it kind of looks like an Xbox.
Interesting theory.
You know, let's just rub it in. It looks like a 360 if you blur your eyes a bit.
Are they playing on that? You know, like a sort of 0.01% of the people that are aiming to buy an Xbox One might buy the PS4 white by mistake.
I don't know. Cause, I mean, obviously the Xbone's black now, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yes. The white ones are the ones that gave.
Would you be if you wanted a white PlayStation and you got home with an Xbone? Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Weren't the white Xbones the one they gave to those Microsoft employees to say sorry?
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Which half men up on eBay. What?
Whatever. It's it's really
Troll.
really a ridiculous launch. I guess not to begrudge them the success. It seems quite well deserved. Like I've heard universally positive things about it. Really. So
yeah, I mean, it grabbed me from from when they released a sort of concept of the game, and I sort of followed it through the development, and obviously got the chance to play in the beta, and I couldn't put the beta down. Now I've got the game, I can't put the game down. It works so well. Everything looks good. Everything plays good. There's not a whole bunch of different classes that you can choose, so there's not a lot of balancing issues that you've got to worry about with different classes, and it's just fun to play, and even more fun to play with friends.
I was going to say, how are the social aspects of it working out?
Good.
Well, some of it didn't level off in front of someone, Chris.
Well, you just haven't kept up. That's all it is.
Wow.
The reason you're 16 levels behind at the moment is because you haven't kept up, not because I've raced off ahead.
So the antisocial aspects seem to be really coming out very, very floridly.
Yes.
But yeah. I mean, you can drop in and out of parties with people. You can. It's not completely open world, so you haven't got. You haven't got 10,000 people standing on each other's head trying to get to one vendor or something like that.
Warcraft.
You sort of segregate it off into sort of individual little server areas.
Yeah,
but
heavily instanced.
That sort of thing, yeah. But then if you party up, obviously you're all ported to the same one. And it works really good, and it's quick, it's fast, it's fluid, and there's no sort of drawn out waiting, anything like that for it. It's all pretty instant, which is
it sounds slick.
Slick is the word.
Sharp, I'd use the word. Very sharp.
That's impressive for a new IP, for a big release. It's quite impressive that they've managed to pull it off to this scale, and they are being adequately rewarded for it.
Yeah,
500 million.
I mean, when that budget was announced, I just assumed that would be the end of them.
I think that was the general consensus. It was like, a lot of people were thinking you can't spend that much money on a game and hope to turn a decent profit.
I mean, Activision have had their problems as well recently. They've released. I'm trying to think of some stinkers that they have released, but I'm certain I read that they weren't doing so hot. And then to just kind of basically go all in on this brand new IP, albeit with a pretty hefty name behind it. And it's good that it's worked out for them. And it's good. Say again.
Hashtag YOLO is probably what the CEO said.
Low.
We went, did it.
Put it all on black.
Pretty much, isn't it? And especially the sort of the idea to go PlayStation exclusive. So obviously, I would have thought if Bungie, if Bungie are making the game, the Xbox fans would be the people to buy their game because they've been playing the Halo series. But
Exactly.
but to go to the opposite end of the field and release it there, I think that's even more ballsier.
Yeah, exactly. I guess Microsoft have kind of done their marketing for them over the years in some ways. Like Sony fanboys who've been sort of stoically with their PlayStations while watching people on Xboxes playing Halo for years and years and years finally get the Halo-esque game before the Microsoft guys did.
Yeah.
Kick in the teeth.
Feels good.
And over the last few days, it sort of brought up for me the sort of topic of addiction in gaming, because I would say over the last day or two, I have displayed characteristics of being addicted to a game.
What kind of characteristics have you displayed, Christopher?
Well, I think breathing has become secondary.
Right.
If there's been a choice,
Yeah.
I've stopped breathing for a bit.
Okay. Right, just in case it affects Destiny time.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah. Are you? Because you sound really ill. Are you eating?
Yeah, I'm ill because I haven't been eating. I've just been staying up.
I can vouch for him. He did eat some sort of thing last night that
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Did you go around last night with like a blanket and a sort of mug of warm soup for him, man?
I did.
Or were you too busy playing Destiny?
He was there, like, glued to it with his pad in hand.
Shivering.
No.
Must level up a bit more.
Must. EP. Yeah. I found him passed out.
Oh
He
man.
was still playing.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a big thing, isn't it? Gaming addiction.
It is.
And it's been getting sort of a lot of bad press more recently than ever. I mean, you yourself, Jake, famously said the other day that the reason you haven't bought into Warcraft is through fear of becoming addicted to it.
Indeed, I famously said that.
Famously.
Our audience of nearly a dozen. No, I completely agree. Like I've long thought that about Warcraft because I know that everything about it would really appeal to me, with it being just this kind of massive open world RPG, with it having sort of such a strong pedigree, with the kind of amazing fantasy setting. I've loved all the other things set in the same universe. I'm currently very much addicted to Hearthstone, which is a Warcraft spin-off. I know exactly what will happen if I get an account.
So, Jake, when's your birthday?
Not for months and months and months and months. No, it'd be such a bad idea. I have, it's sunny outside, and I want to go. I want to see the sky again, and I have a feeling that won't happen if I join kind of a Warcraft guild and did higher level raiding for the rest of time.
The rest of time.
It's I don't know, because the whole issue of kind of gaming addiction, it suffers from people. I don't know. You can read things on either side of it. You can read things that say, yeah, gaming addiction is a genuine illness that affects millions of people and destroys lives. And then you can also read articles of a similar scientific pedigree that say, actually, it's not really a proper addiction because to be properly addicted to something, you need physical symptoms of withdrawal. Like, if you are an alcoholic and you stop drinking alcohol, you have a seizure. And that's a physical symptom. Whereas if you're addicted to a game and you take the game away from, if you take Destiny away from Chris, he won't have a seizure.
Yeah.
So
He might just cry.
yeah, so there's that argument, which kind of potentially, I think, probably kind of distracts from some of the problems it causes, because you're there sort of debating whether or not it is an addiction or not, or whether it's a compulsion or not. And I think, like, those kind of things you were saying, like you said, like breathing's kind of becomes secondary. Like one of the kind of big things that makes an addiction is this thing called primacy, which is where like the thing you're addicted to becomes more important than everything else that you could possibly do, like eating, drinking, breathing, that sort of thing. And it does, and it can kind of take over your life and maybe kind of distract you from other things that you wanted to do.
It seems like Blizzard have got a formula for creating that addiction.
Yeah.
Because every one of their games, no matter what it is, seems to have that sort of thing about it. Like you take Warcraft and Hearthstone, they're two completely different games. Obviously, they're from the same universe, but in terms of the actual gameplay, it couldn't be further apart. But they're both equally as addictive.
You can take StarCraft into it as well.
And
StarCraft is
StarCraft.
no relevant to any of the Warcraft universes
sort of
yet.
Turn-based
Still has the same amount of views.
Turn-based real-time strategy, space sim, and they just seem to get these addictive games out all the time.
Yeah, I think when I've been thinking about Warcraft versus Hearthstone, another thing about it is this sort of feeling, or for me at least, to kind of want to get my money's worth. Like, I think if I bought a Warcraft subscription, I'd feel like I'd have to play it a certain amount to justify that subscription. And with Hearthstone, I feel like I have to play it a certain amount to like get this month's card back, to get to a certain level so I get bonus stars next month. Because I know that it's all going to be taken away at the end of every month.
Yeah.
So there is this whole, I need to play it for this small amount of time each month, which then becomes a very big amount of time. So I think, I don't know if Warcraft is a similar reward
The fact
system.
on all the Blizzard games, doing a simple quest takes literally a whole day. Like, the smallest thing. You must collect 5 boar tusks. 6 hours later, then it's like forced to play all day for these 6 boar tusks.
Yeah. Because like Warcraft gives you daily quests, doesn't it? Like it gives you something to do every day.
I sort of fell foul of them when Mists of Pandaria came out. Basically because I wanted to be one of the first people to get to a certain point within the game. I did these 25 daily quests every day for about, I think it was about a month and a half. And I ended up being one of the first people to get this achievement. But looking back, it was like, right, I've committed, 1 to 2 hours a day, every day for the last month and a half just to get that little thing, and then a few months later, Blizzard bring in an item that does it for you.
Yeah, basically.
So upsetting, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's like I really worked for that.
Yeah.
By worked, I sat on my backside and clicked buttons.
Q and E.
Q and E.
Like Warcraft and Hearthstone are very good at giving you little rewards often.
Yeah.
Like, you being in Warcraft and you level up. In Hearthstone, you beat a couple of guys and you get 40 gold. Yeah. And you feel like you're achieving. And this constant sort of drip, 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 drip of feeling like you're achieving kind of feeds back into your brain, and you go like, I'm feeling pretty good about myself for beating all those teenagers on the internet at a card game.
All those noobs.
Yeah.
But there's that thing as well, is where you get 3 wins and you get your 10 bag of gold.
Yeah. Yes.
So
little tiny rewards.
So it's like, right, you've done your quests and you're sitting on 2 out of 3, then why not just spend another 5 minutes on the game to get the next one? Oh well,
5 minutes into 10 minutes.
Of course it does.
why not just do that? And then why not? It's that constant.
Yeah.
That
It's
constant
those hooks.
Yeah, it's like the carrot in front of the donkey sort of thing.
And that's Blizzard's expertise in some ways, is they are masters at creating those little hooks that just get you playing for 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes.
It's like the new series of MOBAs that have come out as well now. Like, why are they so damn addictive? No one had ever heard of them until Dota's been out for quite a while. But now they've taken over Warcraft. Like, League of Legends is the most played game in the world now.
Yeah.
But how come that's become randomly addictive all of a sudden?
I think it is like the small rewards and often thing. Like in Dota, like Hearthstone, like a match is quite limited in terms of time. So you finish a match, or you finish like a match of Hearthstone within like quite quickly. So you get that reward, you get that sort of constant reassurance quite often. And it's kind of it's a perfected formula from Warcraft, I guess. Like in Warcraft, you've got to commit to like a several-hour raid.
Yeah.
If you need to sometimes, but the newer ones are a lot faster in terms of their addictiveness. I think
Just easy to do as well.
Definitely. And I think the thing with the MOBAs at the moment as well is people enjoy watching them. Because regardless of who's playing, each match is going to be different. Because it's a PvP match, something different is going to happen in each match. So you're not just watching somebody run a raid that perhaps you've run earlier in the week. You're watching a team of people, think on the fly and act on the fly, and potentially you're learning from them as well.
Exactly.
And that all feeds off each other, and that's what sort of, because I mean, not even the release day streaming of Destiny could take League of Legends off the top watched spot on Twitch.
Well, let's say I think it was 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. Destiny only had 20,000 people viewing it, which is not a lot.
It's because everyone's playing it.
Well over 120,000.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, people were playing it.
Press the share button.
Damn it, Nibs. Damn it.
I think somebody should just intermittently just send out a notification. Just saying
If they brought it out on PC, it would have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Yes.
I suppose, yeah.
It's easy to stream on PC.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, like you say, it is something that everybody wants to watch. Hearthstone has the same thing. Like I've had days where I've played Hearthstone for ridiculous lengths of time and kind of gone away to finally eat or something, and then gone, you know what? I really want to watch some Hearthstone.
Yeah, but again, it's that. It's in that situation where you're watching two people thinking on the fly, and those two people are coming together. They're meeting for the first time, and they're having to react to each other.
Yeah, it's like watching a first date with cards and dragon. My girlfriend, I think, doesn't understand. Well, I'm certain she does understand, but she takes the piss. Because I think she can understand how sort of a card game can become compulsive, but I think for me particularly it's the theming of it. Like it's that fantasy world particularly, and it's very well designed to be quite bright and vibrant and alive. And I think a lot of the kind of more addictive games that are in, say, the casual market play on that quite a lot as well. So they're just really brightly coloured, really brightly themed, and they just kind of like sort of just tap right into those pleasure centres.
Yeah.
Nothing more relaxing than like collapsing big rows of coloured gems in Candy Crush or something.
Yeah, we all, we've all seen how addictive that's become to people who
Another guy like game pop.
Yeah,
Was it pigs? Pigs, wasn't it?
Pigs.
Pigs.
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds. Yes.
Was it pigs?
Pigs. It was pigs.
Was it?
I have no idea.
It's finally cracked.
He's correct.
That fan is gone.
But yeah. I mean, we've all seen how addictive that's become to a sort of almost to a group of people that aren't necessarily into gaming. It's sort of broken new grounds that game has. I mean, we mentioned it a bit last week, didn't we? But yeah, it's breaking new grounds.
And like these things that they build into games, they're not new. Like they've the technology to do this kind of thing has existed for since one-armed bandits and slot machines and stuff like that. It's brightly coloured and small amounts of rewards. Like there was a psychologist called Skinner who figured a lot of this out by testing rats. So what he figured out is if you put a rat in a box and you give the rat a lever to press and it gets some food, then if you set up that lever, so every time the rat presses it, it gets a food pellet. The rat will press that lever when he's hungry, but he'll leave it alone the rest of the time. If you set up that lever to like never give the rat a food pellet, then he'll ignore the lever entirely. But if you set up that lever to only give the rat a food pellet, but kind of randomly, so once, then skip a couple, then another one, then skip a 3 more, then another one, that rat will sit there all day and just keep pressing that lever.
That's really
and
interesting.
it's about like small rewards, often randomly, means that stuff becomes massively addictive, and I think Warcraft fits into that formula as well.
God,
you don't
yeah,
know when you're
definitely.
going to level up.
Definitely.
You kind of know when you're going to level up. You don't know when you're going to get a new amazing piece of loot.
Yeah.
It's just that randomness.
Well, I
keeps you coming
know.
back.
I know when I'm going to get loot. It's never, because it never drops for me.
Oh.
That's how I know when I'm getting loot. I just don't.
No loot for Chris.
Yeah,
None
it's
at
quite
all.
unfortunate. To be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Chris gets loot as often as I get legendary cards in Hearthstone packs.
But yeah, I mean that's a really interesting study, and like you say, it's literally what games like that use.
Yeah, and
I think it's the competitive aspects, like tournaments, and like people. It becomes addictive because people they watch these people play at these tournaments earning $250,000, whatever, for like a game, and then they want to be like, I want to be that guy, even though they probably never ever even get close. But again,
totally.
You strive to be it, so you get addicted to it.
I think you mentioned this not long ago, Jake. Actually, the way it seems, you're in that same position as them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ranked 10 and they're ranked 2, you're only 8 ranks behind them.
Yeah, and when we kind of talked about this last week, like the ranking system, and Ben told that story about briefly being in like the sort of top 1% of Europe, and kind of how that felt. And especially now, esports has taken off in such a big way. It's still a relatively new thing in gaming that you can now sort of envision yourself to be this gaming superstar that makes all their money playing video games. But it doesn't seem out of reach anymore because you're all on the same playing field.
Yeah,
it's something that I guess has existed in games like poker, for example. For
IRL
ages.
money is.
Yeah, like everybody who kind of fires up a poker tournament for the first time on their laptop in their house on their own secretly kind of imagines themselves like playing in the World Series for millions of dollars.
Yeah, of course.
Just somewhere in the back of the mind, that's it. Or playing on telly late at night or something like that.
The massive big aviators on.
But then you see
exactly.
people. Then you see people sitting at these tournaments who have come from the internet.
Yes.
Like poker stars, sit and goes that have gone into tournaments, and then all of a sudden, off an original stake of about 10 cents, some guy sitting there at the World Series of Poker.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was won, like the World Series was won in 2003 by a guy called Chris Moneymaker, who I think basically couldn't get more run-of-the-mill sort of middle working class American. And he got into a $10,000 buy-in tournament on, I think it was a $40 satellite at his local poker club. So, he goes down the bar every Friday and plays poker with his buddies, and then he's in the World Series for $40.
That's pretty.
And he wins it all.
Surely it's not his original name.
Moneymaker, yes, it is.
It's actually his original name.
The irony.
His name is Chris Moneymaker, and he won the World Series of Poker main event in I think it was 2003. I want to say 2003. I might have got that wrong. But the next year, there was something like 600 entrants or something like that when he won it, and the next year there was something like 3,000.
Yeah.
Because everybody just wanted to replicate that.
Yeah, because
everyone imagined themselves.
It's that case of, well, that guy can do it.
Exactly.
So can I.
I'm as good as that guy.
What's he got that I haven't?
Yeah. Just the heart. Gotta have heart.
The soul, man. Soul.
Yeah.
Right there.
He embodied the American dream. Like, it was just this one everyman can make billions of dollars playing poker.
But I mean, that like I say, that's how it's becoming games as well now. There's that sort of glass ceiling's a bit lower now. It's still there. Yeah. The ceiling's still there. You know, it's still very, very, very difficult to get into that situation. But
totally.
But you can see it, you can reach it, and you can almost touch it now.
Yeah, I think deep down, we all want to feel when we're playing video games that we're not completely wasting our time.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of a. I mean, we play video games for all sorts of reasons. Like, you play video games because you're bored. You play video games because you want to kind of experience an amazing story. You want to kind of go on an emotional journey or whatever. Or it's because you're tired and you don't want to do anything else today. Yeah. But I think it makes me feel just a little bit better to think that one day I might be playing in a tournament for millions of dollars, maybe.
Yeah.
Just a little tiny bit, just somewhere that perhaps all that time wasn't completely squandered, learning a skill that may not have much use anywhere else. Sorry, that was a bit of a downer. I think video games give us a lot of skills that you can use in real life, at least in terms of kind of problem solving, etc.
Yeah, definitely. There was quite a few studies done on that recently. I think in light of the hate campaign that's been going on over the last 12 months aimed at video games, I think some people have actually come out on the side of gaming and done a few studies to the contrary. But I mean, we can have a research them and talk about them next week.
Yeah,
probably.
It's another one of those areas of research where you can pick and choose.
Yeah, you can make the numbers fit.
There's a lot of arguments on both sides. There are, I think, I need to go and look some of these up, but there are certainly kind of well-validated studies that show an improvement in things like reaction time for people who play a lot of video games versus those that don't. Little things like that. We can have a look.
Yeah.
There's also loads that show. There's also lots of other studies that show that
we're all weird and don't get out of the house. And we
what?
have like smelly noses.
Yeah. There's loads of notoriety in the media that we're all just one loss on Call of Duty away from committing an atrocity of some description. So probably shouldn't believe everything you read, but it's good to know about it and debate it.
Definitely. So we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
I think that'll be all for this week.
You're going to go to bed with a limb slip.
I'm probably going to go to bed with a limb flip. I can't even say it. It's.
I'd recommend that.
He's probably going to go to bed with his PlayStation, like literally next to him, like stroking it, caressing it.
Keep playing Destiny.
We'll be back next week at 100%, hopefully with a full cast.
Yes, we miss you, Ben.
We miss you, Ben.
I hope you're enjoying Destiny.
I'm checking right now if he's even online.
Ben is doing sterling research into video game addiction, but for all the purposes of this podcast.
Yes, he should be. Right, so thanks for listening, guys. I've been Chris.
I've been Jake.
I've been the Months.
Catch you next time.
Bye!